Hi guys, we want to add some events now to the ship. We're going to get involved with the programming a little more. So firstly, open up the ship, and I want to add an event. What I'm looking for is to make the ship move on the left and right hand arrows keys. So first thing I need to do is add an event. It's going to be a basic event and it'll happen while it's updating. You can see I've got this always here. Now another good way to add blocks is to right click, place a block, and I'm looking for flow blocks. This is basically going to be an if, else if statement, so I want an if, an otherwise if, and you can copy and then paste those. So I'll just copy that block, it's a bit quicker I think, and paste it. Now I want to assemble these, so it's going to be an if, otherwise if, and these have to go inside the always block, so do make sure you watch where the white line goes, otherwise if. Basically an if, else if statement, so we can put conditions in to check. Now I'm going to need some speed blocks. I want to make this thing move. So you can click anywhere in this right hand pane and bring up different drag and drop blocks that will allow different things to happen. I'm in the actor and I want some motion, so you've got positioning, properties. I want a motion to happen, so I'm going to set X speed here and I want one of those blocks. Now I'm going to set the horizontal speed first so I can move it left and right, but I need to make sure that the y-axis, the vertical, doesn't move. So I'm actually going to need 6 of these blocks, and it's easier to copy and paste them now. So I'm just going to paste these onto here, and I need 6. Now 3 of them are going to be for the x-axis, so I'll just leave those there. And 3 of them are just going to make sure my ship doesn't move on the y-axis at all, because I want my ship to move from left to right along the horizon, along the x-axis, but I do not want the ship to go upwards, so put some zeros in there, and another one for the y-axis, and a 0. Now the next thing I'm going to do is create a speed for the ship. Now that's going to be a set speed, and they call it an attribute. So over here we've got the attribute button on the right hand side. I'm going to create an attribute, and it's a number, and we'll just call this one speed, as I've already created one before, so I'm just going to call it speed and then click OK, and you'll see that arrives there. Now to set the value in speed, a little like a variable, I click on the Attribute tab. Now sometimes you cannot see this window here, which can be very annoying. I've had to have mine on maximum screen to see it. I was on 3/4 screen before and I couldn't, so if you cannot see that, just go maximum screen and it should appear. I'm just going to delete this one here, this old one. So we're just working with this speed one. I've scrolled down. It's a good idea to put a description in. And I've just said it dictates how fast the ship will move. And I'm going to give it a value of 20. And that's it. I don't need to do anything else, that's all set. Now back on the palette page, so I just clicked onto the bottom tab there. You can see speed is set here. I'm just going to add that speed by clicking into that box, and it's an attribute, it's the only one, and clicking speed. I'm just going to do that for all the X values. so that when the ship moves, it's moving at a consistent speed. Now my Y speed is 0 because I don't want it to move on the Y axis at all. Now I've got a condition here. What's the condition? Well, if the arrow key is pressed, so if I get input and the arrow key, one of the control keys is pressed, is down, that's what I need there. And if I click on here, it'll allow me to choose it, and let's go with the right key. So if the right key is depressed, what do I want to happen? Well, I want that ship to move along the x-axis, and just be careful where you place these, get the white lines in the right place. But I don't want the y-axis to move, so I want to set that to a 0. All good. Now same thing again, but this time if get some input, it's a keyboard control. This time if it's the left hand is down. So it's already set it, good one. What do I want to do? Well, I want the... Now I will need negative speed here, so I need to find negative. I'm just going to remove that, I forgot that. Let's have a right click. Maths, have I got negative? Yes, there it is, negate. Let's go negative, and then just drag that speed in there. Basically this is speed going in one direction. A negative value will make the ship go in the other direction. We'll just pop him in there, and I again want a Y axis not moving. Now otherwise if neither key is pressed, I need to stop the ship. So I need to make sure it's not doing anything, and I shouldn't actually have put that in there because I want to stop the ship. Now this condition I've got to think about, it's both keys, so I'm going to need an and I'm hoping, yeah, there they are in comparison. So and I'm going to need to negate it if it's not down. And there we go again in comparison, so not and not. So if not what? Well, if the input, I must admit I find this a little long-handed. If the right key is not depressed and the left key, yeah, is not depressed, I don't want it to move at all. So don't move on the x-axis and don't move on the y-axis. And again, careful where you place them. They're very tricky to move around sometimes when they're locked. I didn't need that speed attribute, I'll just drag him into the bin. Now I need to save that, very important you save it, otherwise it's not going to work, so Control and S. And I just want to do a quick test, so back to dashboard, and don't forget this is the scene that I'm looking for, so I need to open up the scene because I'm adding this information to my scene. I've got my ship in there and I've put this behaviour into the ship. So I'm on level 1, I'm in the scene, I just double click to open it up. I want to test it. Don't forget that button there if you want to see the background. And test scene here. Now the ship will move on the arrow keys, but it will go off the edge, and that's the next stage, and we'll deal with that in the next video.